Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
This is Mr. Chris Claremont, a legend.
Melanie goes,
Tired.
how's it going, all you Minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today as I talk about my top 13 must-reads, essential buys, or books to check out in the month of September of 2023. Did I do 10? Why am I holding 10 fingers up? 13. That's right. I went with 13. I don't know why. I try to set some restrictions, and then sometimes I'm like, what are you gonna do? All right, let's check out my list. And welcome back, everybody. Now, before getting started, a big thank you to our patrons for making videos like this possible. Could not be doing this without you all. And a small reminder to please smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and ring that bell for notifications. All right, so we've got 13 books to talk about. And let me know in the comments down below what your top 10, top 12, top 11, top 13, top 5, top 1 book is to check out for the month of September of 2024. All right, let's go ahead and talk about these collected editions. Kicking it off with the Batman Family Year 1 box set. I know it's not hardcover, but if you've not had a chance to read these phenomenal stories, I strongly suggest getting this. All 3 of the books are in here: Nightwing, Batgirl, and Robin Year 1. This is all written by Chuck Dixon and Scott Beatty, with artwork by Marcos Martin, Javier Pulido, and Scott McDaniel. And each one of them a little bit different, but yes, set in the first year that they were these particular characters. When Dick Grayson was first Robin, and when Barbara Gordon was first Batgirl, and then when Dick Grayson became Nightwing, and what led him to become Nightwing. Kind of in the way that Batman Year 1 by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli was set up, this particular box set will have those kind of stories set in the past. Could not recommend this high enough. $59.99, 612 pages worth of material. The Avengers by Busiek and Perez, Omnibus Volume 2. Collecting Avengers 24 through 56, the 1.5 issue Avengers Annuals 2000 and 2001, and Thunderbolts 42 to 44, Maximum Security Dangerous Planet, Maximum Security 1 through 3, and Avengers The Ultron Imperative. My absolute favorite run of Avengers, with my absolute favorite story in here of Avengers, and that is the Kang Dynasty. You know, some people think it went on a little too long. I can, but I get it. But to me, it was so epic. I absolutely love the Kang Dynasty, and 100% cannot recommend this high enough. And this wraps up that era of the Avengers by Kurt Busiek, and of course George Perez. Alan Davis coming in and supplying some of the artwork as well. And you've got 2 graduates of the New Warriors in there, Justice and Firestar. And the lineup, like Triathlon Man, it changes so often. And it's that classic style with that modern flair that makes this run so epic. Now, next up is X-Men Mutant Massacre, the prelude to the Mutant Massacre. Omnibus. This was the question. It's like, which one do I go for? Which one do I get? Do I get X Factor? Do I get Uncanny 5? Or do I get this book? And I had to sit back and think, I can't pick them all, right? You can't. And if I had a choice, which one would I get? This is a behemoth of an omnibus. You know, collecting Uncanny X-Men 194 to 209, X-Men Annuals 9 and 10, New Mutants Special Edition number 1, New Mutants Annual number 2, Nightcrawler 1 through 4, Longshot 1 through 6, Avengers 263, Fantastic Four 286, the first 8 issues of X Factor and the first annual, Iron Man Annual 8, Amazing Spider-Man 282, and the material from Marvel Fanfare 33, Classic X-Men 8 and 43. This book has 1,496 pages, and it's $150. It is a huge omnibus. When we did Map My X, I remember Riley and I being in complete opposite ends of where this book should be. We were like, oh, what's going to happen after Uncanny 4? And one of us said, well, there's going to be an X Factor omnibus and there's going to be an Uncanny omnibus. And the other one was like, no, there's going to be one big omnibus. And in the end, I guess we were both right. And now it's your choice, you know, to decide how you want to collect them. This one, I went with this one because it just has everything. I know it doesn't have the letter pages, but the X Factor Omnibus doesn't either. The X Factor Omnibus doesn't have letter pages. It's got a couple of issues here, and they're like the first appearance of Boom Boom and things like that are not collected in here. But this one, I think, as an X-Men fanatic, as somebody that loves these events, this is the one that I would put right beside the Mutant Massacre. And yeah, both covers available the same day. It was tough. It was, you know, and if you watch my channel, we'll be doing a thorough comparison as to what is collected in X-Men Omni 5 and X Factor 1 as opposed to Prelude to the Massacre. Batman 66 Omnibus. I sat on this particular omnibus when it was announced. I thought about it, and I think what happened was there was no sale. By the way, this collects Batman 66 1 through 30 and the Lost Episode number 1. The book has 928 pages and retails for $125. For some reason, I just didn't get it. I loved the Batman series as a kid with Adam West, and for some reason, I just thought, okay, well, maybe it's too hokey, so I passed. And then I passed, and I passed, and eventually it went out of print, as these things tend to do. And now it's back to print, and Jeff Parker and Mike Allred with Laura Allred on colors, how did I pass up on this? I've not read anything past issue number 1, because I did want to try it out, and it was a lot of fun. But now I'm curious as to how the rest of the series is brought together, and I want to see this versions of like the Scarecrow and Poison Ivy, and I heard Bane was in here and Harley Quinn. I'm more interested to see how they handle Bane. Delay after delay. It seems like that's a thing here in September. But Trigun, the deluxe edition by Yashudi Nightow, is finally coming out. Finally coming out. And $49.99. It is volumes 1 and 2 of Trigun with over 700 pages. Now, this is no volume 1 because this leads directly into Trigun Maximum, and Maximum has a volume 1. I think volume 2 has already been in the catalog, so it is finally coming out, and it is real, and man, just get ready for some insane action. Now, his art does evolve through here. By the time you get to Maximum, you'll see his real style. But actually, by the time you get to the ending of book 2 that's in here, you'll see what his style evolved to. Sheets, Collection Slipcase Edition. This is the box set, and I'm a huge fan of Brenna Thumler's Sheets. I fell in love with it. I think it was an old reader, new reader. I immediately went to buy it, my own copy, because I absolutely loved it. And then I upgraded to the deluxe hardcover. And if you've not read this, it is a beautiful story about a friendship between a ghost and a young girl. And yes, the stereotypical ghost sheets are there. And it is so wonderful about loss and about hope and friendship and crossing over. This includes all of it. This includes sheets. It includes the follow-up delicates. And it includes the finale lights. So if you've ever wondered about this, this is the best possible way to get it. I cannot recommend this series high enough. Every one of these is very charming and beautiful in its own way. Now I can't remember if I don't think I picked up Lights, the deluxe edition. Better get on that. Next up is, oh yes, Ghost Rider, Danny Ketch, baby! Omnibus Volume 1! It would have been awesome if that standard edition cover was glow in the dark, but hey, what are you gonna do? Containing issues of Ghost Rider 1 through 24 and Spider-Man 6 through 7. That's the fight with the Hobgoblin, drawn by Todd McFarlane. Mark Spector, Moon Knight, number 25. Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, 28. Punisher, War Journal, 29 through 30. Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Punisher, Hearts of Darkness, and material for Marvel Holiday Special number 1. And Marvel Comics presents 64 to 71 and 90 to 118. There was a time when Ghost Rider was huge, and there was a reason for that, and that mainly had to do with the new creative team of Howard Mackey, Javier Saltares, and then eventually Texas art. Oh my gosh, it is mind-blowingly awesome. You're going to see brand new characters like Blackout and the return of classic characters too. Because Johnny Blaze, the original Ghost Rider, comes back, and they get to fight the Scarecrow, the Marvel Scarecrow, Nightmare, and the Hobgoblin, the Zodiac, and Mr. Hyde. But Blackout is a terrifying character. But this is the new Spirit of Vengeance with Danny Ketch becoming the new Ghost Rider, and that amazing bike. I don't care if you're a fan of the classic Ghost Rider. I get it. Johnny Blaze is a badass. I like him too. But the bike is the bike that people think of when they think of Ghost Rider. Ain't nobody thinking of that car. Nobody's thinking of that original Harley. It's that bike from the 90s that is just screaming badassery. I know that's not a real word. I don't care. Alright, next up is Superman the Triangle Era Omnibus Volume 1. I know it's not Superman the Man of Steel, but I don't care. This is huge. The fact that they're actually thinking ahead, going, okay, we've got this Exile Omnibus, let's go ahead and map the stuff afterwards. We've got this Death of Superman, let's make sure we map it before the Death and Return of Superman Omnibus, collecting Superman 49 through 64, Adventures of Superman 472 to 486, Action Comics 659 to 673, and Superman the Man of Steel 1 through 8. That is the new stories with, or the new series, not to be confused with Man of Steel miniseries by John Byrne. This is the new series by Louise Simonson and John Bogdanove. But there were 4 titles for the Man of Steel during this time, and each one of them came with a little upside-down triangle. So every week you'll have number 1. For example, number 1 would be like Man of Steel. Number 2 would be Superman, number 49. Number 3 would be Adventures of Superman, 472. Number 4 would be Action Comics, number 659. The triangle will keep going all year long, so you know what stories to read next. And even when it's like 5-parters or 6-parters, why did I go with 5? 2-part stories, they would still add those triangles there. Annuals had triangles, and oh man, I cannot wait for this era. You've got, no, I mentioned Louise Simonson, but you got Jerry Ordway in here, Dan Jurgens, Uncle Roger freaking Stern, Bob McCloud in here. This was my era of Superman when I got big into it. I was able to get all 4 of the comics. I thought my number 1 was going to be worth something until that Superman 75 came out. I'm like, wait a minute, this is going to be worth a lot more. Man, I still have not retired. I was wrong on both accounts. And one day I'm sure we'll get a Man of Steel Omnibus, the John Byrne era. Alright, next up is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. I got to interview Patrick Horvath a few months ago, and I had no idea that he had done one of my favorite horror movies, or he was a part of it. And I have heard so much about this. My wife was actually trying to find the first issue, but the local comic book store had sold out of it. So many of my viewers were like, have you read it? Have you read it? No, I haven't, and I still have it, and I cannot wait to read it. It looks creepy. So he told me that it's like Richard Scarry's Busy Busy Town with a dash of Dexter, but he was like, don't think it's just that. It's a little bit more. I didn't even read what it's about. I know there's murders taking place. That's about it. And I know it's dark, and there's anthropomorphic animals. That's all I need to know. And the hype of this book by my viewers that have read it has got me excited. It is a trade paperback for $17.99, 152 pages. But excited nonetheless. Spider-Man, the Complete Black Costume Saga Omnibus. Man, there's so many good books. That's why I had to go with 13. Collecting Amazing Spider-Man 252 to 263, Annual 18. Marvel Team Up 141 to 150, Annual number 7. Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man 90 to 100, and Annual number 4. And Web of Spider-Man number 1. It does just one double dip with that Web of Spider-Man, by the way. This one's $125, 992 pages. Why am I excited? This is the stuff that happens immediately after the Roger Stern Omnibus. So I am super excited to see a continuation of that. This is taking place between Roger Stern and the David Michelinie, Todd McFarlane Omnibus. This is when Peter Parker was donning that black amazing costume that he ended up getting in Secret Wars. And that is something that people have asked me, where's Secret Wars? And that is something that I did ask about. Where was it? So, well, hold on a second. Okay, the whole issue isn't in there, Secret Wars 8, but there are pages from Secret Wars 8 and 9 that lead directly into Amazing Spider-Man 252. So, I had to go and check because I was curious myself. I gotta put this aside to read it a little bit later. But nonetheless, excited for this particular era, and I want to see more. We still need one more volume in between this and Amazing Spider-Man by Michelinie and by McFarlane. We 3, the 20th Anniversary Deluxe Edition. There are 2 covers. Doesn't matter which cover you get. This is the book that made me a fan of Frank Quitely. I wasn't the biggest fan of Frank's run on Grant Morrison's New X-Men. Just thought he drew some really ugly women and men. Oh my gosh. But anyway, this run made me second guess myself because I really loved the way that he did panel layouts and just this amazing dynamic art style that he has with a lot of weird details that work. And this is Homeward Bound, like the sci-fi Homeward Bound. I will say, if you're an animal lover and you cannot stand any animal being hurt, move on to the next book. Because animals are hurt throughout here. We're talking about animals that are experimented on and they become weapons for the U.S. military. And when they escape, the dog, the bunny, and the cat, other weapons go after them. It's a beautiful story, and back in the Deluxe edition, this time around with a forward by James Gunn, 176 pages, $24.99, collecting all 3 issues. Brzrkr. Every time I say that, I always want to cut into the Clerk song. Anyway, this is Keanu Reeves, Matt Kent, and Ron Garney. Matt Kent, huge fan of him. Ron Garney, love his artwork. Keanu Reeves, be excellent to each. Dude, I've been a fan of Keanu Reeves when it was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and then Point Break, and then he started like getting real dramatic roles, but now he's doing some kick-ass stuff with John Wick. Anyway, this collects all 12 issues, and I did not realize this was like, it was a bestseller, selling over 1 million copies of this comic book. That's wonderful. There are 3 different ways to get this. The slipcase is what I'm putting on my list because I love those Boom slipcases. And this is collecting the first 12 issues. I did hear there's going to be a continuation, unless it's already started. By all means, let me know. I like the simplicity of that bloody fist that just says, ah, hell yes. Man, I know nothing about this other than it's violent, but I love the creative team, so I'm going into this completely blind. Now, the last book on the list, I'm not going into completely blind because I have read a lot of the stories in here, and that is The Legend of Zelda, The Twilight Princess Complete Box Set. By the way, thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Walt's Comic Shop, who actually made me aware of this. I had no idea it was right around the corner. All 11 volumes of the manga, The Legend of Zelda, The Twilight Princess, are collected in this box set. This is all by Akira Himekawa, all set in the world of The Twilight Princess. There's an adaptation, and then there are stories that are set during this time. They're not in hardcover format. They are in paperback, unlike The Legend of Zelda, the Legendary Edition box set. I was hoping they would be in hardcover, but yeah, I'll take paperbacks, that's fine. But all 11 come in this box set. This one's $129.99, and it has, it has a double-sided poster. That's the extra in here. But if you're a fan of the manga, if you're a fan of the manga that came out previously, the hardcovers in that box set, or you've been getting them individually, and you're a fan of The Legend of Zelda, and you get to see Midnight in here, oh, yeah, absolutely recommending this one. Now, if you're interested in any of these particular books, then you want to purchase them, check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, And you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over 40 euros. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget, the CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was my top 13. Yeah, I cheated a little bit. I had 3, my bad. Probably should have saved that till October. But anyway, 13 collected editions that are coming out in the month of September of 2024. Let me know in the comments down below what from that list you would pick up, what you're most excited for, and you don't have to do top 10. You could do top 1, top 2, whatever it is, top 5. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to smash that like button on the way out. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.